Hello, hello, hello. This is Peter Pongai, and this is Making Comics Not, episode 330. Welcome. I'll have to put some music to that one day. So yeah, Jason's going to be joining us. I'm going to start us off. It's been a long day, but I did get this page done. So this is Copper Star, issue 3 of a 4-issue miniseries before this series. So this is Scott Sheehy and myself on inks, and yeah, so this is page 5. So I jumped ahead before getting back to this one. I figured I'll spend a little extra time on this one, considering it's the same scene. There he is.
I'm here. I made it. You started early.
Technically, I was on time.
Yeah, if you're not early, you're late. Is that what it is? You ain't early, you're late. Yeah. No, yeah. I would have been on time, but we got hit with a snowstorm out of nowhere.
Boy.
Yeah, so we had to drive a little slower going home. I work with my nephew, so he drives me, and so we had to drive a little slower going home. And then I had to cook the dinner, but the meat wasn't fully thawed, so it took a little longer to make the food. So yeah, so I was like, anything can and will happen,
Hey, no problem.
Yeah.
I did want to mention, so my brother has a new crowdfunder that launched yesterday. So he's doing it with Brian Polito and Billy Tucci and Amanda Connor.
Mm-hmm.
It's all 4 of them. It's a project called the Deadly Trio, and they each created new characters. Jimmy and Amanda created the universe originally, and they built a story around the whole thing. And it launched yesterday, and it's just about to hit 40,000.
Oh wow!
So yeah, it's I don't know if anything like this has happened in the past where creators have come together, like not just creators, but like top creators.
As far as like top indie creators, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say maybe not since the only thing I can think of off the top of my head is Image United. That's about maybe even the Image Valiant crossover stuff. But that's just crossover stuff. That's not them really coming up with new characters to do a full on thing. So
yeah, I'm like talking specifically like with crowdfunding, like
right.
if this is have been done, because I know like there's sort of been jams with superheroes and bunch of small time creators getting together and stuff, but yeah, this is kind of different, kind of new.
And with that many people, it definitely is.
Yeah,
I'll say that because I mean you got some creators that have come together. I know what Finch and Snyder, didn't they do something? I can't remember. Or was it? It was somebody else in Snyder. I know they had a crowdfunder at some point, but that's just the 2 of them. Like
yeah.
this is a crazy amount of people coming together for a whole new thing, and it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything really.
Yeah. So I watched them launched. I ordered my issue. I'm sure they'll do so much better. They got 30 something days left. I think
they're on Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, they're on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So,
I just the only reason why I don't like Kickstarter is because it doesn't come out right away. Like at the same time, that's kind of good and bad. Like the money doesn't come out
yeah.
right away. Like it's kind of good. Like oh well, I have $0 now, but in a month I'll have a paycheck and it'll come out and it's good. But there's a caveat where hey, I have plenty of money now. I'm going to back it. And then next thing you know, you pay all your bills and you're broke, and then the money comes out and now you're negative. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a double edged sword. But yeah,
Um,
sorry if I'm gonna burp and crap. Like I said, I just got done scarfing down all my
oh,
food.
don't eat too fast.
Oh,
Um,
I do, but I ate a little faster. I wanted to be on time. So
cool,
yeah, but
cool.
no, that's really dope, man. Like you said, with the team that they have, they'll do great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll be fine. And that Polito's attached to it, right?
Well, it was launched on his account.
Right. So,
Um,
well, the reason why I asked that is because I mean, yeah, they're all well prominent names in crowdfunding, but Polito
yeah.
is like the pinnacle of like the crowdfunding king almost. Like he's been
Yeah.
doing it so long.
Yeah. I mean, they were even saying like Jimmy was the first one to crowdfund.
Mm.
Like when Kickstarter came around, he was like, "Let me try this thing." Um, and I think it was Crab Girl or something.
Okay, yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, so crazy book he put out.
Nice.
And then Polito dove in. Um, I guess it was with Coffin Comics, or just whatever it was before that. But his first one made something like 36,000, and he was really successful from the start, and now this marks his 40 something 46 crowdfunder.
Oh, wow.
And he's got other things going on. He's got so many books. He's probably fulfilling one as we speak. Billy's got one currently that's crowdfunding.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're all insanely busy and got so many books, and it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, they keep active, and that's
Yeah.
really good. The other thing is they're able to do it as a full-time job, so they can they can pump out the campaigns, and make high quality product, and more frequently. I'm sharing this out real quick because I don't know if people know we're live. I shared it. I shared it on Twitter. I usually
Earlier I said it.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it again. But and that's the thing. Like with what we do, I mean, are you a full time inker? Or you have like a full another job?
I mean, I've had jobs. I've been doing this 33 years, whatever it's been. I've had jobs here and there. I haven't had one for a while. Even though, like, so to give you a little backstory, and maybe like people miss it, but my best friend in the world, ex-girlfriend Lisa, passed away in August 22. And my career took a nosedive. I took a couple of months off. And then I knew coming up at some point I would be going to Florida for 3 months to be with my family. So my work died down to zero.
Right.
I came back. I didn't have anything going for a couple more months, and it took me like 6 months to just get things rolling again.
Right.
AJ, peace.
Yo, what's up, Jay?
So I avoided kind of getting a job again in hopes that I can get really something going this time. And right now, I seriously have like at least a year's worth of work upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
The most work I've ever had. I'm right now. I'm like before I went live. I'm like I'm totally exhausted. I need the weekend off.
Yeah,
I've
I
been
mean,
going, multiple deadlines, multiple projects. I'm getting this one done. I got a commission, but I'm like, I could wait a couple more days
right. Yeah,
because
well,
I'm like, yeah,
no, I was gonna say I did see you post on Facebook several times. So, how you just lately you've been busier than you've ever been, and that's fantastic. So
yeah,
that's really good. And but like you said, it can get pretty exhausting at times, and people think, oh, we're just sitting down drawing. It's like, look, whenever you're sitting in one place for 7 to 12 hours, like I mean, yeah, you might get
yeah,
up, use a restroom, do whatever, but generally sometimes we even don't even eat because we kind of forget, we zone out, and next thing you know, it's like 7 hours has gone by, and like, oh yeah, I should probably have a sandwich, or something. But
yeah,
it can get you get tired mentally, you just do, and it really drains you. And if you're doing that 7 days a week, eventually you're gonna be like, look, I need a day off, I gotta call it, I just can't, like, everybody. I do stress that heavily on a few times. Like I'll be hanging out with my friend Hockey and stuff, and he'll even say, he's like, oh, I just can't, I don't feel it today. Like I don't feel drawing. I'm like, then don't. I'm like, because if you force it, it's, yeah, you kind of want to, and sometimes you get in the groove. But if you force it, it's gonna come out in the work, and it's gonna be bad. And you got to redo it all over again anyway.
yeah,
So yeah, so taking a break, a weekend, a day or two, highly advisable.
yeah,
It is good. I know. I don't know if you're like me. If you go like a day without drawing or doing anything creative in that regard, you kind of feel like a slob. You're just like, I didn't do anything, but we actually do need it. So it
yeah.
is
I
good.
need to force myself to do other things,
Yeah.
um, even if it's just like clean the house or whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh, like I mean, I'll watch like a Netflix thing, like or whatever, uh, or just zone out, watch a couple YouTubes, do whatever. I don't really watch regular TV too much often, but yeah, like you said, even if it's like putting away some comics, or like just not even doing anything in that regard, like cleaning the house, doing something, it recharges you. It gets
Yeah.
your batteries back. So yeah, it is important. But yeah, so what's you're allowed to say what this one's for?
Yeah, I said before you came, but this is it's a book with Tribe Studio Comics. It's called Copper Star. They're doing a 4-issue miniseries, then that's going to lead into a series. Um, this artist is Scott Sheehy. Unfortunately, he passed away, so I'm only inking the 4 pages he did for issue 3. And then they decided another artist is going to take over issue 3. Then issue 4 is going to be me and this guy Ray are going to co-pencil it, and I'm going to ink the whole thing.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I'm trying to push my way into doing pencil work.
Yeah, you've been killing it with the line art, with the pencils and stuff that you've been posting. I think you usually do ink them and post them, but yeah, like I said, you've been
Yeah,
killing it. Yeah.
yeah. It's like because eventually I'm going to be doing my own book retro, and I'm going to be
Mhm.
penciling, inking, and coloring that one. Um, but yeah, it's just to get my feet wet. I got so this project is so the other artist is only going to start issue 3 once I'm done with this page. So we won't start issue 4 until next year. Um, but after the commission, I got 2 things that I'm going to be juggling, which is one's a graphic novel. So we're talking like a 130
Yeah.
page
Wow.
book. That's going to take us over a year because working with a penciler from London, and she does like 2 to 3 pages a week. So that's going to take us a long time. And then the other thing is I'm going to pencil and ink a cyberpunk story that me and this guy Justin are co-creating, co-writing.
Is it Belmont?
No, it's
Oh,
it's
okay. Well, I know
just
Justin Belmont. That's why.
yeah,
Yeah.
a different Justin.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's
Again,
more than one Justin in the world, so it makes sense.
um, I forget exactly how to pronounce his last name, or I
It's okay.
haven't heard it yet. I haven't heard him say his last name, so I don't want to mispronounce it. But it's like ST something or another. But he's done a couple of crowdfunders, and we'll be launching that book probably February.
Nice.
So
Okay. Yeah, I think that's also really good. You're going to be doing it early or later, whatever. But it's earlier in the year. It's got time for I don't want to touch on anything political, but you don't know what's going to happen with the economy. So maybe hopefully it'll start to be swinging around in that regard. I don't know, because I know that a lot of campaigns, big campaigns, little campaigns, they're just not doing as well as what they used to, and it's just the hard economy is one reason why. But so
yeah,
hopefully by then, maybe not. I don't know. You only will know if time tells. But either which way, it is good. Like, because we're gonna be planning on launching Frog too, hopefully in March. Hopefully, we don't
right.
want to put it out until it's fully done. Or at least 99% finished. That way, just because we had so many problems with the first campaign, not so much as like drawing, coloring, printing, none of that was a problem. That all was smooth. It's just real life events were the problem. So, and it delayed the
Yeah.
book. So, but this way, if you have the book fully finished, or at least finished enough, is where you're like, okay, well, we just need to letter it. That's not going to take us 3 months. So, it's better to go that route. And so, will yours be fully finished whenever you hit it in February, or are you going to have most of it done? Or
To that, I say hell no.
well, it's a graphic novel, right?
Yeah, well, so Icebox is going to be. Did we? There is a number of pages. It's not like 100 pages. It's going to be maybe 40. I forget exactly. I haven't looked at the script.
Well, chunk, yeah.
I have to actually rewrite the script, but I'm only focused on the front end of it,
right?
Because I have to work on the script. But yeah, it's gonna be bigger than a single issue, but not like a full blown graphic novel.
No, I mean 40 to 40 some pages is no joke. It's time
like,
consuming.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a while, but
yeah.
So here's the deal. So it's a unique situation because I'm hired. He hired me as the penciler. Originally I wasn't going to ink it. A friend of mine was going to ink it, but he wasn't capable of doing it. So I thought about getting somebody else, but in the end, I was like, you know what? I'll just ink it myself. Since I know
how, yeah,
kind of where I want to take it. Oh, it's Doc and Mar. Welcome.
Oh, what's going on? Good to see you.
It's Sandy. Yeah. So yeah. So it's like a hired gig. So I'm letting him run the show. So he's doing things I wouldn't do, but he's calling the shots.
Right.
So yeah, we won't have anything but maybe a couple covers and the first 6 pages.
Well, and that's fine.
We're not going to deliver it for like a year. Like,
yeah, but
plenty of time to get.
Sorry, yeah, it is a crowdfunder. You need to raise the money to pay for certain things and pay yourself. Also on top of that, so that is how the crowdfunding model it goes. That's how it's supposed to go. That's what it is. It's crowdfunding.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And like you say, you push it out the deadline out a year because a year is definitely enough time to get 48 pages in the can and in the printer. So
Well,
typically,
yeah.
typically it is.
Well, I'm it's like I'm like twitchy because I'm sitting on my book that I crowdfunded years ago that I really need X amount of money pushed to the side in my account for me to be able to move forward with it. So, with all the chaos that's been my life, like that's I'm not there
And
yet.
that's what I say. Typically, it is,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
life happens. Like that's what a lot of people. And granted, like I do understand where some people come from. Where like I backed your book. I don't care. You said you're going to have it by this time. That's when I should have it. And they don't care about your life. They're not your friend. They don't know you. They just don't
yeah,
they don't give a crap. I get that, but there also comes into the point where if it were you, like be a little bit of a human maybe and understand life happens. Like things come up, things arise, and it just gets derailed and not
yeah,
on your own, meaning. So you can have the best of intentions and everything can even go smoothly and just be fine. It
yeah,
happens quite often, but quite often, more than often than not, hiccups do happen in the way that we do things. It's not like oh, my inker, his arm is injured. I'm gonna just go. I'll have the company get another inker to finish the pages. Like, no, that's our inker. Like, that's it. Like, we gotta wait for him to heal up in order for him to start inking again.
yeah.
So things do happen, and it is
No,
unfortunate.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Like, even in the best of companies,
yeah.
you know, what is it like? I've always known Greg Capullo to be the fastest artist in the industry,
Mm-hmm.
but I saw a post, and it had to do with the colorist jumping off. Like saying like I'm not going to do this because he was always given the pages at the last second to color, and he was like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
And there was a lot of back and forth with a lot of people and a lot of opinions. It's like I never saw anything in regards to Greg Capullo that wasn't pure, like he's gold and but things happen, whatever. Like who
Right.
knows who knows what happens behind the scenes.
Well, and once again, it comes to the benefit of a Greg Capullo, a Kubert. They're in a company, so they
Yeah.
have a slew of people that could just come in and pick up the slack. Now, like if you're a penciler with like that Capullo style, also depending on who inking you is does affect the outcome of the book because I've seen his pencils; they're very loose.
Yeah.
So yeah, if he gets a different inker halfway through a book, that is totally forget about it. Like it could totally change the style of how it's going to look. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, he's been doing the what is it,
Wolverine
Wolverine
Revenge.
Revenge,
Yeah,
which is Tim Townsend
mm-hmm.
inking it.
Yeah.
Tim's great. I don't know if he's fast, but I assume he's decent speed.
I like Tim Townsend's work. I honestly I don't think he's the best fit for Capullo though, but I just think it's too clean. I like my
Yeah,
like when McFarlane was inking Capullo, like obviously he inserted McFarlane in it, but it still was dirty and gritty, and it just had that muck that even Capullo has. So like Townsend's very tight and just clean, and it looks great, but it's just like there's a little bit of a stylistic difference that kind of comes off whenever you're looking at it. Like it's not a disconnect. It makes me. It's not like oh I can't buy this book now, but it's still really good. It's just
yeah,
it's just a different look. So yeah, I like, but I'm a fan of grittier art anyway. So that's the style I
yeah.
kind of
Just
lean towards. But
just
yeah.
looking at your own work, like It's gritty.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is also, my eyeballs are a big part of that because I just can't see half the stuff that I'm doing. Well, I could see, but I can't see. So it ends up being grittier in that regard. When I work digitally, you could tell it's digital because it's a lot cleaner. It's still it's still got that vibrancy to it, that, grit, but it's like there's not as many I could tell he's it doesn't look as messy. It's a lot more clean, which I like both mediums.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like I like your gritty stuff because it's almost like Sienkiewicz in a way. Like it's very experimental and
Yeah,
pretty in your face a lot of times. And
he's definitely an influence early on. Those New Mutant covers when I was a kid, especially younger, I wasn't picking up New Mutants as much as other titles, but I saw those covers. I was like, holy crap, going through the back bins. I'm like, these are awesome. So he was an early influence as far as what I thought art could be in a comic. I always associated, because I first started off with artists like Ron Frenz and Jim Valentino. I got the garbage. Ron Frenz isn't garbage, mind you. I think he's really good. But as far as like the Jim Lees and the McFarlanes, I kind of got the lower rung stylistically things because of my other brothers. We were different. We were growing up, you couldn't buy what we bought. So it was that thing, you can't buy what I buy. So I was the younger child, so I had a younger brother, so I had to pick up the slack of the other titles. But because of that, Ron Frenz is heavy into Kirby style. So I learned to appreciate Jack Kirby very early on. And not too many people do, because they end up growing into how good he really is. I appreciated it from a young age. But then I saw stuff like, Sienkiewicz and Keith, and I'm like, you could actually put art in comics. I'm like, this is dope. So it definitely it influenced me later on. Definitely into my late teens, early 20s is when I really started to lean into it and got away from the regular anatomical superhero looking stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I love Ron Frenz.
oh yeah, dude, his stuff is great.
Very powerful.
It's so good, and that's the thing. But he came about during that, at least whenever I saw his stuff, it was whenever you had the Liefelds and the Jim Lees and the Silvestris and all this crazy stylistic stuff, and he was very classic. So to a younger kid, it's not really how you see. I don't know if you've seen any today, any Nickelodeon type shows today or whatever, but they're always yelling, even though they're not yelling, they're just talking at a higher volume and everything's more excitable. And I don't understand it, but I have younger nephews that loved it. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is all they're doing. I'm like, why are they yelling? Stop yelling. But so them seeing even movies that I like that are Pulp Fiction. They'll be like, oh, that's old. It's trash. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's a classic. So, but people look at, Friends and Kirby. If you're a young kid looking at Friends, you're like, oh, well, that's old. That's trash. I loved it because that's what I initially had anyway. So I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
But, I still love Jim Lee and all them, the stereotypical guys. But and then obviously Keith was a huge influence with later on with Marvel Comics Presents and the Max and stuff, and that just blew my mind. So yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because I'm the youngest of I have 3 older brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Only me and Jimmy were into comics, and it was a deal where, I mean, we never said it out loud, but we kind of picked up different books so we can read each other's books.
But don't you kind of kick yourself for it a little bit? I don't know if you still have all of them, but you could be like, oh, I could have had 2 Amazing Spider-Man 300s. I could have had, 2 of this, and it could have been 100. But
I don't have any of my original collection.
Okay.
I moved around a ton in my life, so
I lost a few throughout the years, but I have a majority of my collection, plus my brothers. So those are just some of the stacks over there. I got more that are off camera, but and they just keep accumulating because I still keep buying them. But I do buy older books a lot more often because I got a grown up job, so I buy the older X-Men books and stuff because I couldn't afford them as a kid. So, and now, they're more expensive, but they're still more obtainable, and I'll barter with the shop, or like I'll draw, like be outside the shop and draw something specific for them, and then they'll like take like $100 off a book or something. So they're really nice to
Nice.
me. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I've been like kind of mainly it's the X-Men stuff, just because I know I'll never get them all, so it's a little fun to try to get them. Uh, it's just, but I never could as a kid. You can't get those. I couldn't get like I have Uncanny X-Men number 7. I never would have been able to buy that as a young child. So,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
still love like the indie stuff. Like I obviously the Turtles were big when I was younger, but I still buy even modern stuff like news books that come out. The Conan books are dope. Transformers is really good. Even like the Wolverine Capullo on Wolverine Revenge is really good. Even the main title, there's some good like Batman. You got Jimenez on Batman. He's doing a great job. They had Jason Sean Alexander for a while on Detective Comics, which his work is fantastic. So there's still some good mainstream stuff out there. It's just harder to find sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I always think that through every era with Marvel and DC, there's great stuff out there. I don't currently like I'm barely picking up anything currently because I've gone too crowdfunding crazy in the past,
Mm-hmm. Oh
and I
yeah.
am on a mission right now to get my shit together. So,
Dude, when I first started backing crowdfunding campaigns in like 2020, 2019, 2020, like I was going ham. I was going full ham, dude. I got like almost 3 long boxes just crowdfunders. I went way too deep, and they're great books. They're cool. Don't get me wrong, but the price is steep. So backing as many as I did, I'm definitely way more picky now. I more tactical because money's tighter also, but either which way, there's just too many. There's way too many really good crowdfunding campaigns out there. It's
yeah,
astronomical.
yeah.
So
I mean, hey, you know, and you can't predict. Like, you pick up a book that's great, and it never gets to the third issue or whatever. Like,
mhm,
you don't know what's gonna happen.
exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is harder. I mean, it's easier but harder. It's easier to do maybe a one shot, but the book has to it has to be like plenty thick enough. Like in order for you to really get your full on story told. Like what Joe Ball is doing 300 pages on Death, Death, Death because he's a
Right.
psychopath. But like you're a lunatic, dude. I'm not doing that. But he wants to tell the whole story.
Yeah.
And that's like rather than doing, you know, 5 individual campaigns or 6 individual, he's just gonna, screw it, dump it all in one, and I'll tell my whole story. So it is a little, even you can maybe tell a story in 48 pages, but if you really want to fully develop your characters, it's got to either be the thicker book or another crowdfunder. And like you said though, who knows if they're gonna like, yeah, they could have best intentions and everything. Look at Berserk, that's been going forever, and the guy died before they could finish Berserk, and that's not even a crowdfunder. So
Yeah.
uh so yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Especially most people in the crowdfunding scene, most creators doing it are middle aged. So time's ticking. There's only so many beats in the heart. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna live to 120, so I got.
I hope you do, man. I hope you do. Well, honestly, with the way technology has been advancing, even in the past few years, it's at an exorbitant rate. So they could do something that can add to your longevity. You never know.
Oh, you lost all your books in flooding. That sucks.
Ooh. Well, I know Larson lost quite a bit in a house fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
90s Batman, Teen Titans, Fermias, and they're all long
Nice.
gone.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
love the Teen Titans. I walking through DC one day, I saw Mark Wolfman.
Nice.
um, Earth One collections that lost or damaged. Yeah, and I never had anything lost or damaged, but I, like I moved from New York to Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
and to get here, I just took the train. So I literally only took what I can carry, which is one suitcase and two portfolios.
Oh, geez.
And I had some books with me. I had the best of what I had. I gave everything else away. I gave it to a friend of mine who's a super fan. So hopefully he still has them.
I hope so. I mean, that would be nice. Like I said, I did, when I was younger, I did sell a long box or two. I had somebody at one point even put some of my Thors on eBay. Thankfully, at the same time, unthankfully, he only put up like key issues. So I got like 90% of my Thors back, which was good. But the ones that he sold, like I was able to replace one of them, but the other one was a Stan Lee signed issue, and it's gone. Like I'll never get that obviously back. I can't replace that. But so I did sell a few throughout the years. Nothing that is too like. Maybe there's one. I don't know what happened to it, but I had Batman Dracula Red Rain. I had that and the hardcover, and I don't know what happened to that. I just don't know what happened to it. But my brother, actually years ago, I've told this story before, but when we were little kids, I was maybe a little kid. He was maybe early preteen, maybe. But we went to a pawn shop. My dad took us into a pawn shop because they had comics, and going through it, he found 3 copies of Hulk 181 for like dirt cheap, and they were good. They had the date, this date stamp on the cover, you know, that cool little stamp that they did back in the day. So we had 3 of them, man, and sadly he did end up selling those at some point within his life, because I can't. I've been through everything throughout the past few years, and yeah, they're gone, sadly, because I would love to have even just one of them now. So yeah, but I have, the only time I've lost comics is I went to school in Florida, and my comics, I mean, they just got left there. There's only a few that were, like I ended up taking home the Batman New 52 #1 and stuff. I ended up taking that home. There's a couple, but most of them just ended up staying down there. And there might be one or two that are worth maybe $20. You know, it's not like I lost anything detrimental. Once again, though, it is all just like it's stuff. Like it does suck if you lose it, you know, but it is just stuff. Like in the end of the day, it's just things. And thankfully, it's stuff you can kind of get again if you want to. Like, you know, if I want to reread Thor 411, I can go buy it. You know, you can get it. It's not like it's irreplaceable stuff. So
yeah, definitely. Like I was gonna say something, I forget, but so JS Kentucky okay dollars living wise. I heard conflicting things. Like when I moved here, everything was super cheap. Since COVID, prices have doubled and tripled.
oh yeah,
So I guess that's across United States. So
yeah, it's pretty accurate, of course.
Maybe it's still the best place to be. I don't know. Anyway,
What's up, Ace?
well, now he goes by Buzz. Hi.
I've always called him Ace. His first book,
Yeah.
the Ace. Yeah, so I've always called him Ace. I know his name is Edwin, but I call him Ace. But I call him like by all of his names. It's weird, but no, you're right. It's pretty par for the course. Like I live in Ohio, Northeast Ohio, just outside Cleveland, and it was pretty affordable. You know, like I said, I did go to school in Florida I was there for like 10 years, but I ended up moving back to Ohio in around 2012, and still very affordable area. And ever since everything's gone up, it's like like I said, it's pretty much been since COVID. It really did hit the economy pretty hard. So, yeah, and over time, I don't know how long that time will be. Things usually do circle back around, or who knows? The poles will shift and we'll all die through the rising of the tides. I don't know. Supposedly the poles are shifting, and by 2025, everything's going to be chaos. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is next year, so go figure.
I mean, you know, like maybe Italy's a good place to live. Who knows?
Well, I live maybe 10 minutes walking distance from Lake Erie. So if if like the tides shift and weather changes and sea levels rise and the lake will rise. So I don't know how long that would take, but eventually we'd have either beachfront property or be underwater. But I think Oklahoma might be good. You might be safe there where you're at. Either way, but yeah. It is fun listening to some of these guys talk. Just the one guy I listen to and follow just because he's I don't know if he's an actual scientist or if he just does a lot of research or whatever. But the dude's a lunatic. The way he talks, he's always angry. He's always yelling at the chat when he's live. I love watching him because he's always mad at everyone and for not doing their homework. I'm like, wow, dude, why are you live? You're just gonna yell at everybody. So that's why I get a kick out of him. But he's one of those guys that does talk about the pole shifting. You gotta get your chakras aligned because you're going to need to have proper, spiritual health. I'm like, if the poles shift, I think survival is more important than your spiritual health. So call it a hunch. But yeah, it's fun to listen to those kind of things. I have bad health, so if things go, if it's all foobarred, and I can't get medication, I'm SOL anyway. So I don't pay too much stock into it. I don't pay. I just live my life, and whatever happens, happens. So like I said, we got Frog coming next year. You have your book coming next year. It's like you can't sit there and just worry about, what's going to happen. Like, oh, I got a doom prep.
No, I mean, it's like I know, Lisa's ex-husband actually, he used to be heavily into it. He probably still has the stock in his house. He's living with his wife out in the boonies of the boonies. Just them by themselves, and they got internet. So, but yeah, if I have to go somewhere that I know is fucked, if everything falls apart,
It was funny when I worked at my an LCS. I was like 20. I was about 18 to 20, somewhere in there. The guy that worked with us, I mean, he's kind of a typical redneck, but not, especially for our area. We don't have many rednecks, but he was like, dude, he's like, if things ever go down, you can always come to my house, man. Like, I got guns and arrow and crossbows and bows. I'm like, all right, man. I'm like, I'm not freaking me out or anything here. It's okay. Yeah, that guy was great. He would be smoking in the comic shop. I'm thinking, what are you doing? Stop that. I'm like, there's comics around it. I smoked, but I went outside. But I'm like, why are you smoking in the back room, dude? Knock it off. You don't own the place.
right.
And you're around a bunch of comics that'll turn yellow. What is wrong with you?
Or burst into flame.
Yeah, exactly. You get one little flimmer and you're gone. He's smart. He's a nice guy. He's just, like I say, he's just a little out there. But yeah, it was nice working in that shop though.
Very, very briefly, so I came to Kentucky. I lived in Bardstown, a small town, for a couple of years, 2 years. Then it's like I wanted to move from there because I was looking for some sort of day job, and that was a small town that didn't really have much at that time. And I wound up moving in with a friend of mine who was in Virginia. Anyway, I was with him and his wife for a couple months or whatever it was, and it was around Thanksgiving, and we went to visit a friend of his that was in West Virginia, and this guy had like a refrigerator size vault full of guns.
Oh, jeez.
And he had like a, out back where you could shoot them and hit targets and stuff. And it's the first time I ever picked up a gun. Like my first 3 shots were essentially bullseye. And it's like, how the hell are you doing that? And it's like video games.
Yeah, yeah, video games come in handy, man. Yeah, my a lot of my family are hunters and stuff like that, so they got plenty of guns and all that stuff. I just never got into hunting. I don't have anything against it. I just never got into it. It wasn't my thing. I'm not an outdoorsy guy. I mean, I don't think many of us are that are into making comics. Usually we're shut-ins. You know, I mean, you do see photos sometimes of Graham Nolan like out in a lake or something, but he's a psychopath too. You look how jacked he is. So and I mean that in a good way. I like Graham Nolan's work, but yeah, we're generally not outdoorsy people, but I don't. Things do go down. I mean, like I said, I got plenty of hunters in the family, but yeah, it's like I said, you can't sit there and worry about it all the time. You got to just focus on what's important usually and stuff like family and work. Like make like this takes a lot of time. If you're going to sit there and stress about everything, you're not going to get any of this stuff done.
No, I mean, it's like I'm a pretty simple guy, and like this consumes most of my headspace.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I always tell my friends that like if I haven't talked to somebody in a while, and like they'll message me, text me, call me, whatever. Like, so what's going on? I have a friend actually who calls me maybe once every week or two, and he's like, oh, so how are you doing? I'm like, I'm drawing comics and working. I'm like that. I'm like, that's it. I'm like, it eats up an insane amount of time. Like it just does. Like, cause I have the 9 to 5 gig, quote unquote. I actually work 11:30 to 8
Rick.
typically. Yo, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Hit that like and subscribe, everybody, if you're new to the channel.
It's right.
But yeah, so I usually get off. I usually get off at 8. If we don't take lunch, it's 7:30. But so I have the 9 to 5 gig, and then whenever I'm home, I gotta do whatever I do, and then just start working on whatever art piece I have to work on. So I only have a few hours in the night. So this eats up majority of the time. I don't really have the time. I'm not 20. I don't have time to go to the bar anymore. I don't have time to sit there and try to hook up with people or, even go to dinner with a few friends for a few hours. I mean, yeah, now, like I said earlier in the stream, it is important to unwind. So every now
Yeah.
and then maybe I'll force myself to just not do anything that day, but yeah, and usually the weekends are like I'll go to lunch because I have to live at home with mother. That's I say mother as the joke just because it's Norman Batesy. But I live at home with mother, so on the weekends, like, well, she'll take me to the comic shop, we'll get lunch, so it's not like I never get out of the house.
Right.
But yeah, for the most part, though, I just prefer to be inside because my eyes are bad. I'm in a familiar area and surroundings. I don't have to worry about like running into a pillar,
Right.
which I have done, but a few times. So yeah, it's just I just would rather be at home amongst my stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a challenging thing. It's like, um, when I was young, like I had an operation when I was 2.5 on my eye. That's the only operation I've ever had in my life, at least today. And I was, supposed to wear glasses, and I did for a little while. Like there's actual pictures of me when I was young wearing glasses. But eventually I was like, I really don't need them. I can see fine.
Yeah.
But now I'm back to glasses, in my older age.
Yeah, well, I mean, as everyone, well, majority of people, as you grow older, you just need
Yeah.
glasses for some sort of thing, whether it be for driving or reading,
Yeah.
or full time. But yeah, no, I mean that's great. You only had the one surgery. I've had so many, like I can't, like I'll listen to like a podcast or something, and the guy will be like, yeah, I had my elbow fixed by Doctor So and So. It was great. I've had so many I can't remember the doctors that have operated on me. I don't know their names. I'm like, is it rude? I don't know. I was like, yeah, they help me live longer and they fix me up, but I don't know their names. I'm sorry. Like,
It's a certain kind of person that remembers.
I guess so, man. Because like, yeah, I've had so many operations. Like, it's ridiculous. But like, I do remember some doctors, obviously, but I see so many all the time. I have a hard time remembering most of their names. Like, and also nowadays, especially, you see, like, you might see your doctor, but then you go in, like, to your next visit or do whatever, and then you end up seeing the physician's assistant. Okay,
Yeah.
but then you see the physician assistant for a little bit, and then next thing you, like, for 2 visits, let's say. Then the third visit, there's a new physician assistant. So it's like there's no point in remember anyone's name because it's constantly changing, and you never see the real doctor. So it's like, what? Okay, yeah, that's great. So that's I also like. I'm bad with names too. Unless I hang out with somebody long enough, or you have an identifiable feature, I'm gonna forget your name. That's why I
Yeah.
like I like if people in chat or on live stream, like I hang out with. Sometimes some people I don't know their name. I just know them as like their YouTube handle, and
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I hang out with people, you see me on Topic List or wherever streams I'm on with like Luke and Billy and all them. Like even Ink Spots, I know his real name. I know
Yeah.
his. I mail him things. I still call him Ink Spots, even when we're in private. I call him Ink Spots or Ink. Like I don't. I just prefer to use the YouTube handle. It's comfortable.
Yeah. Here's Dan in the chat. Welcome, Dan.
Lego friend. Oh,
Welcome,
pretty cool.
Mike.
Hope you got your sketch covers eventually. I don't know if he's been over to his dad's house.
Take care, Sandy. Good to see you.
Bye.
It's funny. So, my eye doctor when I was young, I remember my doctor's name, that one specifically, but I'm not good with names. It's like unless I see somebody 4 or 5 times at least in person, I'm not gonna remember your name.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But my eye doctor, because he gave up being an eye doctor and he became a female tennis player.
Okay.
So
2024. What are you gonna do?
well, this is back then. This is like years and years ago. So
He's a trendsetter. Wow.
Renee Richards, it probably around the 70s, like
Wow.
way back. So yeah, it was like years ago.
Innovator. Yeah.
But it's funny because my mom was like, something's off about that man. Like when she first met him.
I mean, hey, that was off. It was like they were trapped in a man's body. I guess I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't try to understand it.
Yeah,
I just won't.
to each his own. Whatever makes
That's
you
what I
happy.
say. That's my whole thing, dude. If you're happy and you're not hurting people, great. Like that's the whole thing. Don't hurt people. Like
Yeah,
it's not hard to do mentally or physically. So live your life the best you can and be positive. Not
yeah,
yet. Or not great. Oh, not great. Well, that sucks. Plagal, yeah, he's. I don't know if he went through another round of chemo or not.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. My oldest brother fought it and succeeded. So
Plagal's fighting it. He's dude. He's a champ, man. Like
yeah,
I don't want to know what that's like to go through, and I've been through a lot.
yeah,
I don't even want to know what that's like. So
yeah,
yeah, he's a warrior, and he'll beat it fully. He already fought off a lot of the major stuff, and so with the doctors helping everybody, he'll beat this one. So yeah, Plagal's like I said, he's a warrior. He'll do it. So yeah, but yeah, it's like I said though. Things happen in life, and things are
yeah,
out of your control. So, and like I said, especially like with what we're doing here, we have to try to make it as expeditious as possible for these books. Although, you want it to still be of a quality product. Like I did the Absolute One Stormy Night thing, and I wanted to see if I could do a page a day. That's one reason why I did it. It was kind of like an experiment. And with the
Nice.
style that it was, I was like, yeah, I could easily do it. Granted, that was very loose style on purpose, but I was like, yeah, if this was my full-time job, I could crank out a page a day. Now, would I want to? No. Mainly because I would like 2 pages a day would to me would be very ideal because then you can actually make sure it's of the highest caliber of what you can produce. Not to
Yeah.
say that a page a day isn't, but whenever you're doing a page a day, it would be more like, okay, let's say it's a 4 paneled page. Panel 1 and 2 are going to be about 60-70% of my highest caliber. Panel 3 is going to be 80. Panel 4 is 100. Like you gotta kind of pick and choose if it's a page a day to really. That's on a panel page. Splash pages are a different
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. I mean, like, um, Mark Silvestri did a lot of silhouettes.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody has their little things they go to and save time.
Oh yeah, it's a nice trick.
Yeah.
I've utilized it a few times myself. Uh, and like I said, with the way we're doing things though, like we can pretty much ensure like we're putting in 100% on everything that we do because it they're a longer. That's why they take a longer time to make is because of that quality that's going into the book.
Well,
So
it's like I was around during the era when things were predictably on time, like with the big two and even other publishers, whatever. Welcome, Angelina.
hello, Angela. It's Angela. She's
Um,
cool.
what you call it? So, like, even back then, there were things that were delayed and not on schedule. I was always of the thought, like, if it takes longer, let it take longer. Like,
Right.
what's the big deal? Like, like the final result is you're going to buy the trade or a collection or whatever, and you're going to look at it and see like the last issues all crappy drawn compared to the first issue.
Yeah. Also, even back then, they would do the filler artist. So, you'd have the 5-6 issues of the regular artist, and then the other one would be the filler to give that guy a break to catch up. So, yeah.
So this is Dan's report. Man, our hearts go out to you.
Well, it takes me a minute to read things. Oh, remission may not be on. Oh.
Yeah.
Indefinite.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks, man. That sucks. I mean, like I said, though, with the way technology's been advancing at a rapid pace, you never know what will happen. So,
Yeah. I mean,
like, here's the other thing: with stuff like that, like you gotta try to it's hard to do, but it's important to have a positive outlook on things, which is really difficult. Really
yeah.
difficult. I'm not saying like, hey, just smile, you'll be better. No. But yeah, it's also important to be around people who are positive as well. So, like I said though, I do believe like even with my eyes, I think technology is going to catch up to the point to where like they can help people like Plagal, they can help me, they can help people with a lot of ailments and issues, and because they could, like the people who are working on these technologies and these products, they very well could come up with like get cancer or anything can happen, so they want to prevent it before it even happens to them. So it's not like things don't get worked on. So yeah, like that. Hopefully, things will turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I see some reels or TikToks or whatever, like where people, guys and girls who haven't seen color, I've seen like color for the first time, or the right colors,
Okay,
and
yeah.
like glasses and special glasses and stuff. And it's like the science out there is incredible.
It's incredible, man, what they're coming up with. Like, this is why the debate about AI has always been, or at least in the past few years anyway, a controversial topic. And with especially with what we do, like obviously I'm not an AI guy with what we do. Like I want it to
Right.
be a human to do it. Like that's just my thing. Now, uh, are there some exceptions here or there? Maybe. I mean, I'm on the fence about certain things, but for overall, no AI in art. I don't want it. But
Yeah.
AI and stuff like advancements of better health, advancements of like even surgeries, if things can get more smooth that way, great, let's do it. So there are pros and cons. Like self-driving cars, I really want that. Like I want self-driving cars. I can't drive, so I want a self-driving car. So yeah, you never know with the advancement at the speed things are going, especially with AI. It just eventually will get to the point to where it's just doing stuff for itself and it's innovating new things and helping out humanity or wiping it out. One of the two. I mean, either way, we have no control over it. If it decides to go Skynet on us, there's nothing we can do. So, but yeah, it hopefully, like I said, the AI thing is a positive, and the advancements in sciences continues. We're living in a weird time,
Yeah, I mean, when I was in my teens or 20s, I would have never pictured things going this way. But I think we're just like it's growing pains, and something better is over the hill. I feel,
Yeah.
We'll see.
And that's the whole thing. We'll see. It's a matter of time, and hopefully we live long enough for that time. But it's a matter of time before things, like you said, dude. In our teens, like Terminator, T2 was a giant movie. That was, I mean, granted, Terminator 1 was a little earlier than that, but still. Right. T2, Skynet, time travel. We're like, it was science fiction. It was not a reality. Especially, time travel, forget about it. But still, like AI was science fiction. It was never supposed to be a thing. And now we're here talking about it 20 years later, 30 years later, and saying, hey, it could very well help make people walk again, or, have people who are full body, paralysis be able to move again. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's a very fascinating age that we grew up in, because we grew up in a pinnacle time where we knew what it was like before all this. We knew what it was like living with it, and we're gonna maybe know what it's like after it's all been out.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of another time frame where you could say something like that has even happened. It's insanity.
No.
So, like, I mean, I used a rotary phone at one point, in my life. Yeah. So, like, you think about it, going from the rotary phone to now you have a computer in your pocket that knows everything. Like, it's just crazy.
It's unheard of. I had one of the original cell phones, which were geez. Like, it looked like a satellite phone. Like, It was huge.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we didn't have one of those. We had the one that everyone had. Like, I can't remember who made it, what it was called, but it was that black one. That, I don't know if it was a Nokia or whatever, but it was that black.
Probably.
It kind of looked like a I don't know, like a phone, or a house phone that you would get off the wall that's cordless almost. Like, it was like a little smaller, kind of like that. But yeah, that's the one we had, and then the antenna goes up and stuff. So remember, we had to pull the antenna up. You had to pull the antenna up out of the phone to get a better signal, and you had to hold it up in the. I still do that, man. With my phone, I still go like this to try to get a reception. Like, the thing's buffering. I'm like, what am I doing? That's not going to do anything. Like, not 1999.
It's the mountain is blocking your signal.
I guess so. The lake is too high a tide, I guess, right? I gotta hold it up higher. I don't know. Yeah, I still do that just out of habit. But it's like I said, it's a fascinating age, and you never know. In 5 years, there could even very well be something that could help people like Plagal, and they don't need like the pump put in or anything like that, and they can get rid of all that stuff. So you never know what's going to happen. Like it's a crazy time, and
Yeah.
I still say stuff like what we're doing though is going to be important and like coveted. Like people are going to want original artwork. People are going to want humans to actually make movies. People are going to want people to do their music. Like they're going to want that relationship, that relatability. There's a certain sense of uh emotional attachment to even hearing a song by somebody you don't even know, and you're like, oh, this person gets me. Like there's
Yeah.
just something
I
that's
mean,
there.
it's like, okay, you could see a piece of art, hear a piece of music that, like, if you didn't know, you could be blown away by it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I know, I'd much rather it be a person, because then I could follow their career. If it's AI, it's like, I'm not really interested. It's not, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's that detachment that, like, yeah, it sounds cool, and like there's just that, like, so like it's almost like a nothing burger. It's a program. The
Yeah,
Yeah, once you find out, like, you could be like, oh, this is really good. Oh, that's AI generated, and then you just get like you're completely deflated. Then at that point, you're like, oh,
yeah,
oh, that's why. Like you're not like, oh, this actually took somebody decades of their life, practice upon practice, like putting down lines, putting in. Forget about 10,000 hours. They're putting in 100,000 hours. Like they're neglecting friends and family. They're suffering. They're having moments of joy and levity, and they produce this piece. I can appreciate that, but when you tell me a bunch of ones and zeros did it, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
that's not really that great at that point. So, yeah, and I have been asked the question before, like, like, oh, well, Jason, if you went fully blind, would you like use AI to replicate art that you could do? And maybe I can't answer that, mainly because I would have that decision made it at the time that it happens.
if you
But
needed to make money, you might do it.
maybe also as long as it's my art. Like I'm
Yeah,
not getting your work, combining it with mine, and then putting something else out. That's thievery at that point.
yeah,
If it's my own art that I'm only feeding into the said ones and zeros, and it's
right.
just me, maybe then. So, and
Yeah,
yeah, I'm influenced by certain artists, and maybe very well, as long as you don't, I don't know how it fully works because I never use it, but maybe if you don't use it, utilize those prompts or something, maybe ensure that it won't happen, uh, or keep it like what is it, a landline or whatever, a land isolated thing.
right.
Fine. As long as it's just my stuff, I might be okay with it at that point. I would still feel like it's not as authentic though, because it's not.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, the whole point is I want to follow people and their careers, and
mm-hmm.
it's all the, because they're under a deadline, they did things a certain way, because their family is in crisis, they put it into the work, like,
Oh yeah.
like,
Well,
robots have no feelings, like.
hopefully they never do. If they do, we might be screwed. But mainly because I think it would lead to war. That's just my hypothesis. But but yeah, it's like you said, like you don't know what can trigger. Like, 'cause if you're working on a piece of art, another piece of art could very well trigger and influence what you're doing. A robot is not going to know that. Like, it's just not like, but it might trigger something in a way that is unpredictable. Like, you could be listening to a song and it just puts you in a sense of certain state of levity, maybe. And that produces then out into what you did because of that artist that did what they did throughout all their years
Yeah.
influence. Like it's like yeah, it's a domino effect, a butterfly effect. Call it what you will, but it's a human thing. It is a
Yeah.
human thing. So I think AI is very important and pivotal in what it and will be for life. But I think it'll also make us appreciate the things like art and creativity and hobbies, even like like collecting comics or something like that. Like it'll make you appreciate that a little, like having a physical form of a book in your hand. From like, oh, this is the civil rights movement was happening during this time this comic was printed. Like the history is there, and there will be a certain attachment, a human attachment to stuff like that. So
Mm.
I mean, it could go that route, or like I said, you don't know, it could go to total chaos. Hopefully it doesn't.
It's like, it's like watching kids now and what they're into, and it's a whole different thing than when I was young. And like they might be more acceptable of AI and whatever, because maybe in the future they won't have to work. So
Yeah, and hey, if that's the thing though. And by the way, what's up, Rick Sailor? I see Rick's in the chat.
yeah,
That's the thing. Like, if people don't have to work, they're gonna have to find something. Like they
yeah,
will. Like, yeah, there will be the people who are just gonna sit around and do absolutely nothing. TV, video game, whatever. And yeah, I don't want to bash it because I watch movies, and I know I have plenty of friends who love video games. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but if that's all you're doing all day, every day, it's not good for you. So I think it will force people into doing something they normally wouldn't even do. Like even like, hey, let's go rock mountain climbing today. It's like, well, I don't ever want to do that. But if I don't have anything else to do, that might sound like a good option. It's like, well, I don't have to go work on a lathe machine right now and get paid for doing that. So let's go climb that mountain. I don't know. So, or hey, let's learn how to play. You learn how to play a guitar. I'm going to learn how to play drums. Let's start a band. Like it could lead to some very good things, or it could lead to people being totally destructive. There is the pros and cons to everything. So, sadly.
well, it's not going to be decided here tonight.
No. Well, and that's the thing though. Like there's pros and cons to everything. That's why like we create characters we create. There's heroes and villains. There's always the yin and the yang. It always will be. You cannot and will not ever have a highly elevated, perfect homeostasis society. Like you just things will not be perfect. They just won't. There's always going to be that one thing. You can't have organization, peace, and love without chaos. Like it just can't.
Yeah, yeah.
You appreciate peace when there is chaos. Like if you just do, you appreciate it more. So yeah. It's like in the movie Legend. He says there's like you can't have light without dark. You
Right.
can't have all this stuff, and it is true. The yin and the yang does exist, even in the universe itself, and galaxies we'll never see or visit. There's chaos, and there's also just moments of beauty. So it's you can't separate them and just have just the great things. It just doesn't exist.
No, it's like I was talking to a friend of mine. I said, I don't think we're ever not going to have war of some kind. It's like there's always going to be conflict. There's always going to be, like I'm a positive person, and it's like I
Yeah.
don't even like deal with any of that stuff on a daily basis for the most part. But it's like, yeah, people are always going to be upset about something. Like something's not perfect to
Right.
somebody.
Yeah, and he's right. I mean, sadly, like yeah, that'd be great if there was no war. I'm all for it. But you're always going to have a villain, or you're always going to have somebody that wants something more than what you wanted. I guess you could say. So yeah, sadly, there always will be some kind of something like that in the world, because the
Yeah,
world is gigantic. I think people
yeah,
forget how big the world really is because of what we have here. And it's great what we have here. Like I'm talking to you now. You're in a totally different state. You're miles
yep,
and miles away from me. And I'm talking to you now. Dan Plagle is a good friend. He lives in California. Like I have friends with people in Australia. Like, I think because of that, a lot of people forget how ginormously, insanely big this planet is. And
Yeah.
so there's always going to be one person, even if it's just one person, that throws off the whole dynamic of perfection that is pure evil. And there will be someone out there that is vindictive, maniacal, backstabbing, whatever word you want to use. And as long as that one person exists, like I said, there's 9 billion people. There's going to be one. Like, it's just,
At least,
sadly, it's just true.
yeah.
You know, even I forget how big this freaking planet. Like, I mean, come on, we've only explored what, like, what is it, 3% of the ocean or something ridiculous like that. That's how big this planet is. I think it's 10% maybe, but that's the ocean. That's on the Earth. Like, we haven't
Well,
explored it.
I mean, is it possible to ever explore all of it? Like, do we want to? Like, do we need to?
I want to know what's down there mainly because of the whole USO, alien stuff. That would be interesting. Like, I'm curious. Are there aliens living in the ocean? Like I said, we've only discovered so much of it. You never know. But also, there's stuff like giant squid that we find that we've only recently discovered. Almost like there was only rumors of it, and then we recently, like, the carcasses end up washing up on the shore, and that's like, oh, there is one. So there's fantastical creatures that live in the ocean. So that'd be
Yeah,
kind of interesting to know what's like. I've even Google image searched them just for references for like creative ideas, like weird, ocean creatures, and like you find some fascinating, scary things. Like, I'm
yeah.
glad I don't live down there.
I worked on Aquaman, so I know
Oh, there
strange
you go. Yeah, you know all about it. Yeah, you don't need to be told. And that's just the ocean. Like I said, space, forget about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a crazy time and crazy planet. Like, it really is.
Yeah, there's always, to me, there's always beauty out there. Like, there's
Oh
always
yeah.
new beauty to discover, and new beauty to create. Um, so, since I have you here, I put your link to your sign up page down
Oh, thank you.
below. If you want to talk about your upcoming project.
Ooh, Frog G2. Yeah, when we say Frog G2, it's just faster. But it's Frog
Yeah.
G, the Cerberus key. It's the second book. There's going to be three books. It's in the first book, he gets turned into the frog. He goes on a quest, and he has to go on a quest to kill death, or to kill a god, and win back his humanity. So this is his journey. And so in the first book, he fights the creature called the Baba Gaga, and it leads him to a doorway where he meets a boatman, a pirate, and that's where that ends. And this picks up where that left off. So the boatman's taking him further into his journey, where he goes into the abyss, and in it he's got to get to the gateway to get into the next level, pretty much. And in it he has to defeat the Cerberus and get the key to open the door. Will he do it? We don't know. You have to back it and find out. Although there's three books, so it's safe to assume he does. But that's beside the point. No, yeah, it's drawn and inked by me, colored by Ink Spots, co-written by the both of us, co-created by Frog G himself. He's the, I don't know if he's been in your chats, but he's been in plenty of other chats, off and on.
He
His
has
work
been.
schedule, yeah, his work schedule's been pretty crazy lately, so I know he hasn't been around as much as he used to be. But so Frog G, he's he created the look for Frog, like he came up with the imagery and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be 48 pages, like the last one. And like I said, we're hoping to have all of it done, hopefully fully lettered. If not, it'll at least be completely drawn by the time it launches. So like I'm saying, hopefully March. But there will also be a catch up tier. So if you missed out on the first book, you'll be able to get it on the second campaign. And it's a fairy tale. It's pretty much a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun little fantasy fairy tale adventure. Like I've said on plenty of streams before, comics aren't serious, but making comics is. So
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's a comic that doesn't take itself seriously. Like it's a fun little adventure. I try to do as much wacky artwork as I can. Ink Spots does his he's underrated as a colorist. He's one of the best, and the way he colors everything, he'll do digital and traditional sometimes and mix it up. And he has a
Yeah.
painterly look to his stuff, and we really complement our styles very well with the way we work on the books. We pretty much just trust each other to do what we do. We don't really dictate. So when we go to write the book, like we'll even just offshoot one another. Be like, it'll be like, oh, he's gonna say this. I'm like, oh, what? It wouldn't be cool if he said it this way. Like, oh yeah, that's really dope. So we work we work really well together, man. Mainly because we don't step on each other's toes.
Yeah.
So and that's the way to go about it. But it's a fun book. It's a fantastic book. People who got the first one absolutely loved it. They were blown away by it. So it's free to sign up. If you sign up and you'll get a link whenever it goes live, a secret perk link, and you'll get a free trading card. So a foil trading card like the first campaign had. So like I said, it's a lot of fun, man. It's a fun little story, fun little adventure. Will he get turned back into a human? You're gonna have to get all of them to find out. That will be a secret. But yeah, so I'm on. I'm sorry I wasn't drawing. I didn't know if I was supposed to be drawing.
Oh,
But
I sent you a memo. No.
oh, I didn't. Oh man, I didn't get the memo. Oh, this is like Office Space all over again. Uh,
Yeah.
no, so I'm on page 8 right now. The way I work is I'll lay out most of it. I'll lay out some of it, I should say, digitally because my eyes are so bad, and then I'll go
Right.
in and then I'll lay in the, as Todd calls it, the sexy. So I'll lay in the cross hatching and everything. So you do have original artwork.
Right.
So I'm almost done with page 8 here. And we also are going to have a variant cover by Carl Stefan, also known as Chubbs from Merry Boys. So,
Right.
yeah,
Cool.
he did the thumbnail for it, the prelim for it. It's going to be awesome. So,
He's phenomenal. He's a great artist.
dude, Ink and I are big fans. We're huge fans. And we were debating on who to get. And I was like, dude, what about Chubbs, man? I'm like, not too many people have a Chubb variant. And he's like, yeah, dude. So, yeah. So we were very fortunate that he agreed to do it. So, and we're obviously paying him. But yeah. So, yeah, that'll be the only variant, though, on the campaign. Uh,
Nice.
One good thing about, well, I don't know if it's good, but something we're doing with this campaign, we're focusing on the book. So if there's stretch goals, they're just going to go for the book. We're not going to have trading card we'll have the foil card if you sign up, but we're not going to have trading cards or stickers or bookmarks or any tchotchkes. It's just going to be the book, which will also keep the cost low. So the price won't be as like it might be 20 instead of 25. We don't know yet because the like I said, economy's tough.
Yeah.
So it's our way of like helping out a little bit. And then, like I said, if there's a stretch goal, like and spot gloss, on the cover, like that
Right.
will be it'll go towards the book itself rather than just printing up a trading card or something. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. I like that.
yeah, so
You know. Um, it's like I understand it. It's business for some people to have all the extra blah blah blahs.
and I've
Um,
done it. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, no, cool, man. Like I look forward to it. Like I saw that the one piece that you guys have put out there, and it's gorgeous. You
Thanks,
know,
man.
so
I could maybe I could pull up I mean he has posted pages on his Twitter, but let me go into the drive and see if I can the cloud. I'll pull up a page, a colored page.
cloud,
Because he's
cloud.
got I think he's got 4 pages colored. Not 100% sure.
Yeah,
Once again, we're not going to launch into another like
yeah.
Ink Spots is even having trouble with his eyes. The cloud's not. Oh, it's way over there. Why are you way over there? So he has to have. He's got diabetes and it's messing with his eyes, but he's going to have one of those surgeries that helps fix it. And
Okay.
but they keep putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. So hopefully January, February, I think it is. He'll have the surgery done, and his eyes will be fully good for him to like work up close. I think he'll need
Yeah.
glasses to draw, but that's fine. And Ink is a very talented illustrator. Most people, most people, I should say, don't even know that. He draws very well. He drew the supplemental for Frog G book 1.
Right.
All right, here we go. I guess he didn't. Did he not upload them yet? He didn't upload them yet.
No.
All right. Well, sorry. Best intentions, like I said, but no, he's a great illustrator. But for this campaign, because the first one we had a supplemental, a 24-pager that Ink drew and I inked it digitally. Right. For this one, and that was about the main villain Sarnunos. For this one, we're having it about the voodoo priestess. She turned him into a frog, and Hockey's going to be drawing that. And he drew a trading card for the first game. It's so good. Hockey is so good. He leveled up insanely, and we're very lucky and fortunate to have him on the doing the supplemental for this one. So
yeah, I watched a lot of his the drawing show he had, and he's improved.
Yeah, he's leveled up. So yeah.
Cool, man. Well, we can look forward to that, and so I have the link below for anybody watching now or watching at a later date. Go sign up for it. Please. Check it out. I got some other links down below where you can throw me money or whatever.
Throw them some money. While you're down there, like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Or if you're not, just hit the like button. It helps the algorithm.
Share it with your friends. Tell your mom, as I always say.
Yeah, she might like it. You never know.
That's right. But we had a lively chat. I was reading it. I didn't put everything on the screen, but we had a lot of good people show up today.
Yeah, recognize some of the names. Thanks, everybody. What's that?
Everybody loves you. So.
Everybody does love me. What can I say?
Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Dude, thanks for having me. This was fun. Next time I'll draw.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, I was actually I had Justin on, the Justin that on yesterday, and I was like, oh, maybe we should draw, do a competitive drawing or something. But I was like, before the show, I'm like, I'm fucking exhausted.
No, I mean, well, I would just be drawing. It wouldn't be a competitive thing. But no, I just didn't have time to, like I said, I finished scarfing down my food and I quickly opened everything up. So yeah.
No worries. We'll do this again.
Yeah, it was fun.
Absolutely.
Thanks for
having me. All right, everybody. Have a good evening all, and keep making comics and art. Yeah. We are out of here. I'll be around again probably next week.
Nice.
So peace. Yeah, I'm going to take a good break.